Hello everyone, my name is Louisa and I'm a twin flame, and it's been approximately 24 hours since my last confession. I've been on this path for 23 years and I've been aware of this path for 23 years, and it finally kicked off 7 years ago. And it is only today that I am finally getting it. I'm not sure if it's a mixture of the summer solstice or whether it was some work that I did yesterday, but today I finally get it. I saw a message on a YouTube video that I was watching from a divine masculine, and he says you should be able to feel the progress in the 5D, and that just made me realise that that is exactly what I've been feeling. The progress that I feel and feel frustrated at because I couldn't see it is because I'm feeling the progress in the 3D. I'm feeling the progress in the 5D, yet it's not here in the 3D. And just following on from my video from yesterday, it's just occurred to me today that that is exactly what's going on. I am in the 5D of consciousness, while my body is still that of the 3D. And I'm literally living in these two realities at the same time. And today it is just so perfectly crystal clear. I can see where one ends and one begins. I can see the two layers and how different they are. And it just, my issues of the last several years just now make total sense. I can understand now. All that frustration and irritation and confusion has just gone, and there's just an acceptance and a peace. And I can just see why I was having so much trouble with it. It's like I wasn't fully anchored into that 5D, and the slow change to it without that understanding is just what led to all that confusion and disharmony, and today it's just gone. And I can see why I was having so much trouble. I think what triggered it was yesterday when I realised that I was trying to do things as a 5D consciousness with a 3D body, and they just weren't working. And I can see now that they are, even though they're exactly the same space, they are two different levels. And what my 5D consciousness is aware of and being, on the 3D, it's not there. And that's the discrepancy that I wasn't realising before, but it's just completely a contrast. Somehow it's peaceful in that difference. On some level I can feel that I've accepted those two and the differences, and that somehow they're just harmoniously existing alongside, on top of, in and out of the other. I'm well aware that the life in the 5D isn't reflecting the life in the 3D. Yes, I've come to an acceptance of them both. Yet there's a choice to be made now. I think this awareness is because lots of the YouTube channels that I do subscribe to and watch, they've all spoken about anchoring in 4 and 5D, anchoring in the timelines, and I think that's what's happened for me, because it's just so clear now. It's like when you're underwater and you're moving up out of the water, and if you leave your eyes open you can see half above the water and half below. It's like I'm just at that point and I can see both. And both of them are just perfect as they are. In some strange way, separately they're each perfect, and together they just some sort of perfect symmetry between them. Though they're not a mirror image of each other, but somehow they're still perfect. I can't explain it. But this, I can see here that this is how often the 4 and 5D are seen as two completely different spaces or places, and this just shows that they're not. And for me, it helps back up the multidimensional theory. That begs the question of, where do I want to go from here? However, part of me is just tempted to stay in this in-between for now. I don't want to go back to how I was, conscious-wise, that's for sure. I don't want to go back to how I was 3D-wise. Though now I have a clearer sight to see what it is that I felt frustration at not being able to bring in to the 3D, because I couldn't understand it on 3D terms. I couldn't translate it in. And now I'm finally starting to be able to. So the question is, what are my options? I'm going to stay like this for a while for sure, because I feel there's a lot to be revealed here. Then hopefully this 5D consciousness will fully remain, because there's a piece here that I haven't felt for a long time. And all the conflict that I spoke of in the last video, there's still that not quite linking up between the two, but everything that created's gone. It's like my consciousness is finally fully anchored onto that 5D, that discrepancy that was causing that confusion and that suffering. It's all but gone now. I'm no longer worried about the 3D. And I think that's because I now know what's going on. And now I can understand my situation. I'm not worried about what I can't understand. But I know this opens up more options. I can still feel that the changes to be made are this 3D. Whether that's the 3D, changing it into the 4D, or simply realigning what I'm doing so it's in match with my consciousness reality. And they are two very different realities, that's for sure. As I said, it's like seeing half in the water and half above the water. It's the same space, but the two realities operate very differently. And what you can do in one, you can't necessarily do in the other. That's the best way I can describe that. You can swim through the water, but you can't swim through the air. I still feel there's some changes to be made with this, so I'm going to allow that. I know that I did yesterday, I was doing some energy work, and for the first time for a while I did feel my crown chakra start to react. So that could be actually what was anchoring this in. It's just strange, because I always thought that going on to being in or going on to the 5D was some sort of shift to it, but I'm already there. I'm not completely 100% sure what made that final step over, but I'm grateful that it did, because it's like I finally got my head above the trees and I can see around me. Full moon's next week, and that's going to bring out something even more. Like the flower bud has appeared, and in that full moon, that's when something's going to open and something's going to become. I feel like 3D now is just, I was going to say a waiting game, but that's not right. I've been waiting in 3D for decades now for this, because I knew that this was coming. But the waiting game isn't right. It's like, it's just a matter of time before it rolls over, ticks over, changes, before it triggers. Something like that. But I'm not so worried about it anymore. This is my ultimate desire in my heart. The one thing that I've always wanted is my freedom, above anything else. And I never really understood in what way I didn't have freedom. And over the years, as I've worked on things which I thought it could be, and none of them have helped, this was getting down to be my last choice that I was aware of. Choice as in the options and possibilities. It was literally freedom of my consciousness from the 3D. I can't think of anything else it could be. Because I certainly feel freer in a way that I didn't before. It's like I can finally breathe in some way, even a little. Like I can finally breathe, like I can finally see. Like I finally realised, though I haven't seen anything, I haven't realised anything, I see. I realise, and that's it. I've never felt this before. It's not a peace, it's not a bliss. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a contentment, it's just a feeling of realising. Not even a mental realising, it's the feeling, it's the awareness of. I like it. It's like finally understanding the truth behind it all, behind this, why I'm here, what's been going on, what all this has been about. I actually feel like I've managed to make one step towards that freedom. It's taken me 20 years. But as they said in Ghostbusters, better late than never. It feels like I've been connected to something and there's this sense of relief. I say 5D, I mean, I know it's not the 4D because I've been in the 4D for years now and it's very different to that. It took me years to even realise that that's what the change was that had me so confused and feeling like something was wrong. It wasn't wrong, it was obviously just different. But this is something else altogether. I'm saying it's the 5D. I mean, there's no way to... The numbers are just ways of differentiating and I'll just call it 5. These clouds look amazing. Oh, that's been my summer solstice. Oh, I can't even say it. That's been my 21st of June so far. I did another environmental cleansing this morning. I figured did one for the new moon, I might as well do one for today. I didn't realise this until, what, an hour or two ago. I think I actually dreamt about it last night because I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember waking up thinking, wow, that was some big deal that just happened. And I remember waving around the death card, tarot card, and there was some big something about that last night, but I don't really remember what it was. Much love to everyone, and I hope you have a good day as well.